One of my homeboys hit me up literally, I think it was like a week ago, and it was probably one of the most intense conversations that I've ever had with somebody. This dude was sidle on some Kurt Cobain type of time. You know, he's always been that guy. You know what I mean? Ever since we was kids, like he's always had multiple females, always done his thing. You know what I mean? Literally, like he's has multiple hats. That's what the YNs call it now when it comes to the street shit. Like he got multiple hats when it comes to like women and stuff like that. And he called me just for like advice on like just like some business stuff and stuff like that, because he was like, yo, I'm thinking about starting a brand, blase. And I'm sitting there, we just catching up talking about life, and he was literally at like his worst point right now that I've ever seen him in, you know what I mean, in his life. And this dude was literally telling me, he's like, bro, you don't understand. He was just like, I got 3 baby mamas. He's like, child support is like damn near like 30,000 in back pay. Like, I don't got no money right now. Like, I'm living off the female. And I'm just hearing this dude just purge everything out to me. And I'm not judging him ever. I will never judge anybody, because we all got our own, you know what I'm saying, circumstances, and we do what we do. And life is nothing but a teacher. But when I'm just hearing him purge out to me, like basically all the decisions that got him to where he's at right now, I literally asked him this one question, and that one question was, do you regret your past? And what he told me was actually fucking crazy, bro. He was just all like, I regret everything. I don't regret my kids, but I regret their mamas. I regret all the women that I've been with. I regret all the choices that I made, the going out, all this stuff. And remind you, like, this dude where I'm from, like, he is that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's that guy. And this is one of like a good homeboy that I grew up with and everything. And for him just purging everything out to me, not just only it made me reflect on my life, but it made me wanted to just make a video on the importance of just not settling and just always going for more. And the only time you should really be like, you know, picking a litter, that basically what I'm going to say is just like picking a litter, and you start picking and choosing like who you want to be with or procreate with, is when you're 100% established. Because a lot of us get caught up, especially when we YNs, you know what I mean? I'm 35, but just 10 years ago, I was considered a YN, you know what I mean? And we all get caught up, you know what I'm saying, in the fast life, the partying, you know, the drugs, the alcohol, the women, the vices, and just all this low vibrational degeneracy shit. And I'm a big believer that everybody has that within them. It's just everybody has to get that out of their system. And for some people, it takes years, and some people, they just like, oh, after a few months, like, this isn't for me. But I feel like when you're young, it's like, it's so much energy that you have to just like let it all out. You know what I mean? Because the last thing you want to do is suppress it. And then 10 years or 20 years later, when you're 35 or 40 years old, you're trying to be outside. You know what I mean? So for him, you know, and he's 34, and just hearing all these issues that he having, it really just made me realize that I'm just like, yo, like, life is serious. I know that y'all out there, you know what I mean, probably got a little female right now, or you probably got like a little female right now. And the reason why I'm really making this video, because I really want you to look at your life and your circumstances, even the women that you with. If you had everything that you have right now, would you even be with this female? Would you even be fucking with this type of archetype of a woman? Would you even be around the niggas that you around? Would you even be doing the activities that you were doing, regardless of they, you know what I'm saying? Or would you even be moving how you moving right now if you had everything that you had, even when it comes to your clothing brand? Would you truly be moving the way that you move right now in all aspects of life? And 9.9 times out of 10, you wouldn't. So my whole thing is just like, why don't we just move as if, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm going to make a video on that, on just like how to become it and how to get your goals and everything like that in half the time, because I've been able to do such things where, around my 10 years, not just running a brand, but even helping out clothing brand owners and all these things, because I got goals with everything that I want to do in life. And when I even reflect back, I've come to realize that I get that shit in half the time, because I just move as if. Once I have a goal, I don't start from the place of how do I get there. I start at the place of like, if I say I'm a 6-figure clothing brand owner or a 7-figure clothing brand owner, I start moving as if, and life, you know what I'm saying, directs me to the house. You know what I mean? But once I have my mind set, like, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to be, and this is what I stand on, I just internalize that. And then obviously over time, you know what I'm saying, my reality just starts to like quickly shift and things like that. But like I said, I'm going to make a whole video on that. I kind of talk about it in one of my videos. I believe it was how I use the law of attraction for women, for success, also as well for business. But this video, if we don't, and this video is very, very, very deep on what I'm about to say. Because even when I sit back and when I even reflect on the law of attraction video, I'm just like, damn, I'm talking about women up in there and stuff like that. But now, even within 2 weeks or whenever it was when I talked to my homeboy just a while back, it made me just sit back and think. And I'm just like, damn, like, I don't think no man on planet Earth should even be fucking with a female if he doesn't even have property. I don't think that men should even be entertaining women. If you still at your mama's crib, if you don't have your age in your bank account, if you sitting over here still like you not disciplined enough and you sitting there on the video games or on the P Hub or, you know what I'm saying, just multiple females and you got a roster and this and the third and you over there working at Wendy's and shit, I don't think that you should be entertaining no women until you are 100% established. I forgot what song it was. I think it was like a song by J. Cole back in the day. I don't know the verse verbatim, but I just remember when he was talking about basically, like in this one verse that J. Cole said, it was like all this entertaining with these hoes and going out. Like if we just put that energy into just you being established, majority of men on this earth wouldn't even be poor. We would never even see poverty. You know what I'm saying? And every single time I've been down bad and every single time I've always looked at my circumstances when I literally was hitting rock bottom, it was always because of either alcohol, partying, or women. It was always one of those three things. And the partying is just, you just want to be validated. You hella outside. And I'm not saying partying is bad, but when it's just an over access of it, that's when it just becomes a little bit OD. And there was a time in my life where I was overdoing it with all three of those things. And I just, if I was talking to my younger self, which is you up in this camera right now, and if I really had to just sit with myself and really just be like, what is the one thing that I would tell my younger self? It would be simply, do not, and I repeat, do not entertain any woman until you are established. Right now, I'm not even established. I'm headed towards being established. I'm 35 years old. Yeah, I've touched millions of dollars in clothes. I've made money. I've lost money. I've bounced back. I've done this. I fell off. I've been through it all. Not just with a brand, but just even in my life. I have a son, you know what I'm saying, with a woman that I was once with. I've entertained multiple women. I've done the degenerate shit. I've done illegal shit. I've done this. I've done that. When I look at all the energy that I've gave into things that really have not brought me any type of dividends to my life, when I just look at all the energy that I put into that, it's just mind-boggling that I could have just took all that energy and just threw it into one thing and just really just went hammy, and I would probably be 10 times or even 100 times more up than I am right now. But I can't sit back and just be mad about the past because that was all of my experience. But if I'm talking to you right now, that's probably younger, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you even my age and you just going through certain things, and you probably have a whole bunch of bullshit and turmoil going into your life. My whole thing, and I know that this is extreme, but I will not entertain no woman until I'm at where I need to be at. And for me, at least, and this is just like I guess you can call it biblical, Lord knows, biblical law. The first one, obviously, like we got to have some type of property in our name. You know what I'm saying? We got to have some type of establishment of business, you know, and business isn't really necessarily for everybody to get rich, but just be in the value of other people and just to serve other people. Obviously, everybody that's watching this page or been on my page, majority are trying to run a brand or they starting a brand. So we got that one, right? And then last but not least, you know what I'm saying? We got to control, you know what I'm not just only control, but also as well master the internalness of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We got to master our foundation, you know, our traumas, our emotional side of things, even as a man, you know, because we suppress a lot of stuff. We got to master self, you know what I mean, on such a degree. So then we can go out there and pick the litter, because a lot of y'all, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of men out there. It's a lot of women out there too that are settling, not because they want to, but because they have to, or because they know that they're not going to put in the work. So now they can't even pick the litter. And my whole thing is that I want you in this video to be able to pick the litter. But the only way that we can do that is by actually being an established human being. Then the only way that we can actually be an established human being is by cutting out all the bullshit and just honing in and focus on what needs to be focused on. And that is the work that you are currently probably internally and externally resisting. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.